Alright, today let's add and subtract surds. Adding and subtracting surds. Well, it's very like how we add and subtract in algebra, that we can only add and subtract like terms. For example, if we have 1 apple and we have 3 apples, then altogether we get 4 apples. But if we have 1 apple and 3 bananas, I can't simplify it any further because apples and bananas are not the same item. So similarly to add and subtract surds, we can only add and subtract like surds. So can only add and subtract like surds. Well, what is a like surd? So like surds are surds which have the same number inside the square root sign. So for example, square root of 3 and 5 root 3 are a like surd because they have the root 3 in common. It's the common surd. In fact, root 12, which can be simplified as 2 root 3, that is also a like surd because it has the root 3. It's in common with the other root 3 and 5 root 3. So the way to simplify surds or add and subtract surds is we must simplify the surd first, then we can add and subtract. So let's do some examples. So example 1, let's simplify the following. So part A, let's simplify 4 root 6 plus 3 root 2 minus 3 root 6 plus 2 root 2. So if it helps, highlight the like surds, or first check, are the surds simplified? Well, yes, I've got root 6, which can't be simplified any further. I've got another root 6 there. What else do we have? We have a root 2, and then we have a root 2 here as well. So we can only add or subtract the like terms. So I have a 4 root 6, take away a 3 root 6, it gives me 1 root 6. I have a 3 root 2, add another 2 root 2, I get together 5 root 2. And we can't combine it anymore because root 6 and root 2 are not the same items, and you just leave it as that. Let's do another one. B, 5 root 2 minus root 8. Again, first check, can I simplify any surds that I've got? Well, root 2, no, because that's the simplest I can get, but root 8, we can break it down as 4 lots of 2. So 5 root 2, so that becomes root 4 times root 2. So 5 root 2 minus 2 root 2. Look, they both have a root 2 in it, so they're like surds, so I can add and subtract them. So 5 root 2 minus 2 root 2 gives me 3 root 2. Let's do another one. Part C, 2 root 5 minus 3 root 20. So again, let's check. Can we first simplify our surds? 2 root 5. Root 5, I can't do anything more to it, but the root 20 I can, because 20 is 4 times 5. So that gives me 2 root 5 minus 3 lots of root 4 lots of root 5. That's a minus 3 times 2 root 5. So that gives me 2 root 5 minus 6 root 5. Because I have like surds, the root 5, they're in common. So 2 minus 6 gives me negative 4 root 5. And we're done, because there's nothing else that we can do. So that's basically it for adding and subtracting surds. Make sure you simplify the surd first, and then you can gather any like surds and then add and subtract them. So to-do list. And some complex familiar. Alright, have fun.